welcome to another episode of Rapid Fire interviews on the A2O section. For those of you who are watching this for the first time, please log into our Facebook page for the Asia, Africa, Oceania section, FCI section Facebook page, and you'll see other episodes. The Rapid Fire interviews are just fun, rapid questions that I ask our invited guests. Our invited guests are well-known people in the dog world from our section and also from other parts of the world. And the idea of the interviews is for you to get to know them a little bit better, a little bit more intimately, to have maybe some of those questions you always wanted answered, or maybe not, depending on how much they want to tell us. And for us to have fun. Most of us, at some stage, this is happening during the coronavirus pandemic, so most of us are at home or locked down. So the idea of this is to bring a bit of fun into everyone's lives by getting to know each other better and connecting with each other using technology. So today, it is my greatest pleasure to introduce Anna Szabó, who's a very well-known photographer in our dog scene.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Anna, and welcome.
Hi, everyone.
It's great to have you on. How are you doing?
I'm fine. I just finished with the shoot, actually. I have come back from my morning walk. It's fantastic weather here in Stockholm. Okay. So it's been sunny for the last couple of days, only with some showers. So we've been very fortunate with the weather, and we are very spoiled in these corona times because, Sweden is one of those countries that have managed sort of halfway without locking everything down. So using this situation, we are working on a charity project. Actually.
Yes, I was going to say, can you tell us a little bit about this charity project that you're doing?
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was one of those people who did not take this corona thing very seriously at all at the beginning. Then I did get the virus, and obviously that was fate saying, hey,
You got the virus, really? Okay, wow.
Yeah, I did. And I came through it, actually, thanks to the help. And but it was kind of a sign from God saying that, hey, Anna, you have to take this seriously, and it's not just a joke or something. So once I recovered and I felt well, and I was safe to go and meet people because I wasn't contagious anymore, I thought, well, why could I could just go to Sweden and work with dog people. They have no dog shows to attend anyway.
Yeah.
And in Sweden you can still get around, you can travel. As long as you live up to the guidelines, the safety guidelines and measures given by the government, you're free to travel, meet, go to cafes and things. People are very careful here in Stockholm, so most of the restaurants and cafes are empty. And when we announced this charity project on Facebook, I asked Dan Eriksson to sort of supervise it, and he gave his blessing, and he supports me tremendously. So I've been here, since April 18, something like that. And I've been shooting nearly every single day with multiple clients. I'm sending 80% of all the income I get for these shootings off to Hungary to a hospital.
Can you tell us a bit about the hospital? And obviously, a lot of people are not really aware where you're from. You're actually Hungarian by birth.
Yeah, I am actually. It's just, it's just that I don't really live in Hungary because as a photographer and journalist, you have to be on the road all the time. And that's kind of just an excuse for the fact that I'm actually quite wild and I love to travel. So, I found the perfect job for a wild horse like myself. Yes, but I am actually Hungarian. It's just that I spent almost too little time there, actually. Although I have been visiting more often now and for longer periods lately. And I have actually...
Tell me, do you feel Hungarian or do you feel more European because you're more sort of everywhere here?
I feel more European, and I am more a cosmopolitan European person. That said, when you're born a Hungarian, you will never leave your Hungarian history, culture, and essence of. You will always be a Hungarian. That you can never lose that. Never.
Yeah. Excellent. All right. Okay, Anna. So what I'm going to do is, can you just the bit I missed was that you're donating 80% of these funds to a hospital in Hungary. Is that right?
Yes. Well, it's a fund, run by a university in a smaller town, one of the biggest towns actually in the country, but it's not not as big as Budapest. And there's a university which is an extremely famous one in the world, and not just in Hungary. We have lots of students from Scandinavia too. So they established a fund for this coronavirus related issues, and most of it will go to the local hospital that needs to
Excellent.
Has enormous expenses because of the coronavirus, and I can't say an amount yet, but we are talking about.
No, I just giving you a bit of advertising here for the project, and also just thank you for doing it. Actually, I mean it's very commendable, and but that's you. All right, I'm going to jump.
I've got to say that not only me but my clients feel fantastic about the project too. Like it's
Absolutely. Well, it's a way to unite the dog world and to get them at this time, and as opposed to rushing and trying to find time. Well, that's one thing that we all have now. We all have time, lots of it.
Yeah. And this is the time to actually do something good, actually, because now you can do good even in your bedroom. Just in your bed, you can change things. You really can. You don't have to go out there.
All right, I'm going to jump in, Anna, so we can get on with the interview. All right. So, what's your favorite food?
Okay, my favorite food is Napolitan pizza.
Okay, and favorite drink?
My drink is cappuccino.
Cappuccino, okay. I know we talked about it a little bit about you being a global citizen, but if you could live in any particular country, where would it be?
Norway.
Norway, okay. I know why. What's your favorite book?
Oh, my favorite book, that's actually a Hungarian one. It's about a little child who oh God, I don't know how to. I can't translate the title really, but it's about a little child who sort of dies at the end of the story, and it's played in a winter time, and it's just all sad doom and gloom. But it's a Hungarian.
You want to just mention the title in Hungarian? I mean, I won't understand it, but maybe people.
Actually, there's no translation to it really. It's the first word would be the treasure hunter little something, but I don't really, because the second would be a little nickname for this little boy. But it's not possible to translate it really. But people can ask me privately, and I can send you the title.
We won't kill it then. What's your favorite movie then?
Oh, my favorite movie is The Memoirs of a Geisha.
Ah, lovely. Okay.
That's a beautiful movie. Yeah.
Okay. If you could be any animal besides a dog, what would it be and why?
I would be an eagle because I could fly. Yeah.
Eagle-eyed photographer. There you go. What's the first thing you notice about someone when you meet them?
If they're kind, their soul, what they project to the world, their eyes and their attitude towards others. That's the first thing.
And who's your favorite cartoon character?
Oh, that would be Louis from The Life of Louis. He's a fat little American boy. And then it's, that's just absolutely brilliant. It's, I don't know how many, I think some of you may know it. It's about his sort of years in school and his first, time of falling in love, and his time with his family, which is so similar to one of my classmates' family that it was almost scary to see the episodes, because we would always think, oh my God, that's exactly what happens to you when you come home and your father is home grumpy after work and things like that. So that would be Louis, a fat kid.
Okay, so tell us something, Anna. I mean, many people do know this, some don't. So for the benefit of those who don't, you actually are involved in dogs. You're not just a photographer, but you are also a breeder and exhibitor of greyhounds. Is that correct?
No, I don't breed. I have not bred any litters. I have raised quite a few. Okay. So I have raised quite a lot of Irish Wolfhound litters, because my parents, they used to breed Irish Wolfhounds. So this is how I got into the sport. And the first few years I just went to dog shows because I wanted to eat chocolate and I wanted to travel. I couldn't have cared less about the dogs because that was just boring. Watching dogs being shown in the ring, Jesus. And then I got hooked at the World Dog Show in Poznan. That was the first time I ever showed an Irish wolf, a dog in general. So of course I started the perfect venue. Not just some little show somewhere. And I have shown greyhounds, quite a lot of greyhounds, Irish Wolfhounds, some whippets, with quite a great success. Should I list more or less what I have won with it?
I just want to know, because I'm leading into my next question, which is, so was it photography came first, or the dogs came first, or
dogs came first?
Dogs came first. So what year did you sort of take up the photography and decide that this was something that you had an eye for?
Right. So I because I have always been interested in almost anything related to the sport. I would always take pictures just for the fun of it. But it was in 2000 and 12. Or 12 or 13, that Espen, my mentor Espen from Norway, he needed a picture of one of his griffons for an ad in a breed club magazine. So he said, "Oh, Anna, you have to help me because I have to take a picture and we need it now and it's urgent and oh my God, what are we going to do?" So the picture turned out to be so beautiful that it was actually used in the British Griffon Club Illustrated Breed Standard. And Espen loved it. So he said, "This is something you have to start doing." So it all came from there and that year, actually.
Excellent.
So it's about 9 years ago.
Yeah, because I mean, for those who don't know you, obviously, I would say there's very few people who don't know you, but your work is just magnificent. And do you feel that sometimes having been an exhibitor first or a dog person helps you be a better photographer in that way?
That is the key to being a dog photographer, because dog photography is all about knowing the breeds, the history of the breed, the standard of the breed, to know type. What makes a good Chihuahua beautiful Chihuahua, what makes a beautiful Chirneco an outstanding one, what makes a Samoyed screen type on a photograph. Or you have to know all of these things. And being a handler, being involved with dogs, grooming, touching, conditioning, all of this, going for a walk with a dog helps you develop instinct for dogs, and therefore allows you to be a better photographer, a good dog photographer. The camera in your hand is just a tool. That's not the point. That is just the thing you have to use.
Interesting that you say
it's
that.
It's not about knowing photography. It's about knowing.
Interesting you say that, because I would have always thought, seeing your shots, I mean, there's no dog that you have posted that I've seen that you make look bad, but I suppose I'm looking at most of your pictures very artistically, and there's a lot of artistic value to, I'm not saying you don't photograph them correctly or they're good specimens, but even specimens that I've seen that are average, in your photographs look magnificent. I mean, you always it's the composition or what you do. So interesting that you feel that a knowledge of dogs has I mean, I'm not doubting it giving you an edge for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you are photographing dogs, sometimes do you tend to tell the owners, okay, let me photograph and you stay quiet, or do you tend to?
Well, this is very dependent on the people themselves. How much they want to take part in the whole thing. Some people come with ideas and what they want to have and where they want to have their photographs taken, and many people would just leave it completely to me as to what to do. It depends. It so depends on the individual involved, and I enjoy all scenarios. I very often like to do exactly what just I want to do. But it can be really fun as well to follow some ideas and some thoughts of other people. Oh, can I maybe have a picture in front of a flower pot because it's, or can I have a picture of my little pet in this park because that's where we would always go for a walk, and when my pet passes away, I want to look at a photograph on the wall taken at a place where we would go for a walk every day. So it depends on what we shoot for. If we want something wow, if we want the representation of the dog, which is a show dog that could go into a standard, then people usually just leave it up to me. If it's something very emotional and sentimental, it's when people would sort of say, oh, I would like the shoot to be done here. And I enjoy both. I have both, although mostly I decide myself, actually.
Excellent. All right. So what FCI grading would you give to Audrey Hepburn?
Well, let's go for an excellent.
What about Lady Gaga?
Oh, excellent.
So who gets the custard?
Lady Gaga.
What about Sean Connery?
Oh, definitely best in show.
Okay, so that answers my question. So best of breed would be Sean Connery.
Yeah, of course.
Whatever best in show. So okay. As a photographer, is there such a thing as objective beauty?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think so. No. For photography is about finding beauty in everything. There's something beautiful in everything.
Absolutely.
Everything.
Ice cream or frozen yogurt?
Ice cream.
And what flavor ice cream?
Chocolate.
Okay. What's the best advice that was given to you as an exhibitor? When you were an exhibitor, can you remember the best advice given to you by someone?
Yeah, it would be, it's actually something I read, you know, you win gracefully and lose gracefully, equally gracefully. You have to take both very gracefully, regardless the situation, even if the judge is incompetent because, you know, or the competition is being unsportive to you, you know, no matter the situation, you have to always stay sportive and graceful.
Yeah, I agree. That's good advice. And what about, I know you said you're not much of a breeder, but advice given as a breeder, I mean, that your parents followed or that Espen followed, what advice as a breeder do you think?
Yeah, do your homework before you start. So make sure that you are well equipped with the knowledge you need before you jump into breeding. Because many people make a mistake of buying a bitch and then, oh, okay, I'm going to have a litter and I'm going to be a breeder. That's not how it works. You have to have knowledge. You have to go visit breeders, talk to the master breeders, read books, sit ringside with them, know your breed, know your standard, build enough knowledge in yourself before you start. Do your homework, and that will take years and years.
Excellent, excellent. Okay. Are you a morning or night person?
A morning, but I can be both. You know, I actually can be both. You know, my friends say that you never sleep, so we don't understand how you even live or exist.
I can vouch for that. You come on a strange time and thinking, why is she awake now? Okay. Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Sunset. Okay. Describe yourself in 3 words.
Wild. Passionate. What would be the third? Oh, I don't know what would be the third. I don't know. Joyous.
I'd say talented, but there you go. That's me.
Yeah, thanks.
Texting or talking?
Talking.
What's the strangest thing you photographed or that you've been asked to photograph?
Well, but I have photographed some models before. So I was asked out on a shoot in Napoli to photograph a naked professional model, and I was given a camera which was not mine. So I was just asked to photograph, but then they took the camera and the pictures, and I never saw the photographs ready in the camera because they didn't allow me to. You know, they paid me well and everything, but like that was really strange.
Was it for private use or was it
private? Yeah, private. The strangest day I've had, and I'm, you know, just really weird, really weird.
All right. And do you have any siblings, brothers and
3?
sisters? 3. And what
3.
number are you?
I am number 3.
You're number 3. The baby. Okay, nice. What's an incident, the funniest incident that's happened to you during a photo shoot that you know you enjoyed or laughed at the most?
Yeah, it was when I can't tell the name of the person because he's just someone I respect too much. But one of the dogs peed on him and his shoes and his trousers, which must have cost a fortune. And we were going to have lunch somewhere, very posh restaurant, and that was funny. That was really funny.
This is his own dog. Or her
yeah, no, it was a dog of the client. He just came to help us, you know, so.
And do you have any weird superstitions when you're photographing? Is there anything that you do or you take along with you that's like, you know, your little lucky charm or something like that?
Yeah, that's strange actually, because I don't like to over prepare. You know, I don't like to over prepare. I don't like to do too much and think too much before I start. I want to be inspired there and then, but I like to check the places out the night and the morning before. And actually, I love to go around the places with the music in my ears. I'm addicted to music and my headphones. So I would need to go around and see the place on my own with no one around, no one talking to me. I need to be able to look at all the corners and imagine it with the views and the dogs sitting, standing there. So I need to be able to see the places, locations where we shoot on my own.
And what are you listening to? You said music. What are you listening to?
Oh, all kinds, really all kinds. But I like movies soundtracks very much. But I listen to all kinds, really, mostly romantic.
and when you're photographing, because I haven't had the privilege of being on a shoot with you, when you're photographing, are you talkative or are you very silent and watching?
Both. Well, I can be very talkative or very silent, but it's normally a lot of talk you have to do because you have to direct the people. You have to direct the scene itself. Taking a picture is one thing, but you have to create the scene. You have to make people comfortable. So it's very social and a lot of talk that goes into it because you have to. If you're just silent and unsociable, your clients will feel uncomfortable. You need to, first and most important thing is that you make people feel comfortable. And that's when you can make the shoot work. Because if people feel stressed, then the dog will be stressed. So you need to create a very quiet, peaceful, and fun environment. And you need to make them they need to have fun. People need to have fun. So it's better to laugh. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and do you sometimes look at a scenery or a place and think, oh, I know the perfect breed that needs to be photographed here? Or do you think
all the time. Okay. All the time. Like I can't look at a door. I'm staying in Gamla Stan in Stockholm, which is a beautiful area. It's the Royal District, and every little door and every little window has something crafty or artistic about it. So every little corner where I look, I say, oh my God, I wish I had a Shih Tzu sitting there, or I wish I had a Chihuahua in this corner. And so your brain keeps on firing you ideas all the time. It never switches off, never.
Do you take notes when you see a location? Do you take a photograph or take a note? Okay, so that you remember it for a future location, or do you have a good memory?
I do. Okay. Yeah, I do sometimes. Sometimes I do. Just if it's a smaller little thing, but I remember and then I have it done right away because I'm like a doer. So if I see something and I want to do it, I'll just do it. Yeah.
So what makes you happy, Anna?
Kind, happy people around me. That makes me happy. Yeah.
And what makes you sad?
The opposite. The opposite. The opposite. A fakeness and falseness and unnecessary dramas.
How long does it take you to get ready?
For a shoot? No,
just generally when you wake up every day. Are you a person that needs 2 hours, or are you a person that needs 10 minutes?
No, it depends. It depends where I go. If I'm meeting a boy, it might take 1.5 hours. If it's just a casual normal day, then I would say half an hour, after the gym, because I normally start the day with the gym and end the day with the gym.
And are you someone who's always late or always on time?
No, very much on time, but I have been late several times. I have to admit. So it depends really on the situation. But normally
you're allowed a few imperfections. Would you climb a mountain or jump out of a plane?
Climb a mountain.
Okay. Would you rather be able to speak every language in the world or be able to talk to animals?
Oh, I would rather talk to animals. They have so much to say that people don't have.
I'd be too scared, actually. I've asked this question to several people, and as much as I would, at the same time, I wonder, do I really want to hear what they have to say? But that might scare me a little too much.
No, I'd love to. I'd love to.
Okay. What is the thing you're most afraid of?
There's this disgusting, stinky little bug. I don't know what it's called really, but it looks like a shield, when you look at it. And they live all over the world really, and they are mostly brown, and I'm terrified of them because they are totally harmless. They can't bite you and they are not poisonous or anything, but I have a phobia, and they fly around with this horrible sound, and I'm so scared of them.
I need to know what these are. Not cockroaches.
I really don't know the name of this thing. I really don't know, but they are disgusting, horrible creatures, and they are ugly and they stink as hell. And I hate them. I really hate them.
Okay, mountain, cabin, or beach house?
Mountain.
Okay. At school, were you a good student or were you a rebel?
I was an excellent student, but I could be very naughty. So I was a very funny mixture of the two.
Okay, three people, dead or alive, that you'd like to be stuck with on an island.
That would be Mike Gatsby, Espen, and Marco Kozza.
Okay. What about non-dog people? Let's go non-dog people. If you had to choose three, dead or alive.
Right. Hugh Jackman, Graham Norton, and Barack Obama. These three.
Okay. Why? Okay, just quickly, why each three? One reason for what?
Okay. Hugh Jackman is one of the kindest, most goodest, best people in the world. Like, he has a heart of gold, really. Graham Norton is the funniest thing in the world. Like, he's so much fun. And Barack Obama, I think, is a fascinating person, very knowledgeable and so classy. So these three.
I'd take Michelle with me instead of Barack, but there you go.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, 3 things that you take with you if you were stuck on an island.
My glasses, my camera, and just a notebook with a pen. So that's 4. Okay.
There you go. What superpower would you like to have, and why?
I would like to read people's thoughts. That would make life so much easier and fun. I would have a lot of fun with that.
Okay, what was your most memorable photo shoot? I mean, a dog one, and why was it the most memorable for you?
That's a very hard one, Gopi. The most memorable photo shoot would be, oh my God, it's impossible to pick, really.
Okay, name me a few that, or 2 or 3 that jumped to mind that you thought, wow, they were good.
Okay, so there was one with the Napolitan Mastiff in Pompeii. That was absolutely remarkable because it's a fabulous specimen of the breed in Pompeii, in the ancient city of Pompeii, where we only got in because, in Napoli, you get away with a lot if you are a pretty young woman. So you dress up and, so you're just very pretty and cute. And they will allow you in with a big dog, even though the big dogs are not allowed in Pompeii, but we got away with it. So that was beautiful, funny, just the whole package was absolutely incredible. Then I would have to go with the Great Dane on the Atlantic Ocean Road. Which is Elizabeth and Arla Foss's dog. Like, that was absolutely amazing.
That's one of my favorite images, right? That's the one of the Great Dane sort of lying down and looking very majestic, like a lion.
That was absolutely incredible. And then I'll have to go with 4. There was one on the Isle of Skye with the Bracco Italiano. That was out of this world because Isle of Skye is like you're not on planet Earth anymore, really. It's like you are in a Star Wars movie. It's absolutely fantastic. Absolutely amazingly fantastic. And then Iceland, when we're shooting at the Vatnajökull Glacier, that was unbelievable.
Wow.
Like the whole.
Wow. Oh yes, I remember those images. Yes, I do.
Yeah, with the Pomeranian and my clients, they were absolutely fantastic, crazy wild people like myself, driving through rivers and walking in the glacier pool and on top of the ice and in an ice cave and volcanoes and all that. Wow. That was really incredible.
Excellent. And what was the most challenging photo shoot you had, which was a nightmare, but then at the end, you were really happy with how it turned out? Like something that, that was just impossible at the time and you wanted to give up?
It was one of the front covers for Crafts, actually, the Irish Setter, because it was a very last minute rearrangement we had to do because one of the people that I actually asked to contribute let me down. So I had very, very little time and very few options to choose from. And so it all had to be done in the last minute. And we did it in a pub, which I thought would be quite good, but wasn't really ideal. And I was not happy with the photograph at all when I took it, the Irish Setter photograph, which is on the front cover. It's actually eventually most people's favorite. So it probably turned out to be the best one of the 4. Okay. And that was one I was really not happy with. And I thought I would have to reshoot the Gundog Day cover. And then when I sent it to the Crafts Committee and they sent it back with the writings, and I said, oh my God, this is actually the best of the 4. So that's funny. That was funny.
And talking of the Crafts covers, was that one of the highlights in your career so far?
Definitely. That's such an honor and such a privilege. And it's such a quite undescribable. I still haven't, the process that actually happened. It's just the most unthinkable thing, and I would not have managed without the support of a few individuals who have known it since the beginning. Since there have been just a few people that I told about it the day I was asked to do it, because it needed to be very discreetly done and kind of not really in secrecy, but we didn't want people to know before we even knew we had good enough material in our hand. So I wouldn't have managed without them and their support. Just that I could talk to them, about it.
Did you give them one selected image for each cover that you thought was the best, or did you give them a selection that they picked from then?
For the utility day, I provided one because that was the only one that I thought would be, that was obvious that was the one. Yeah. On the other 3 days, no, with the pulley as well, there was just that one, which I thought, there is no reason to think if this is because this is the one. The other 2 days, they had a smaller pool of photographs they could choose from, actually. Yeah.
And if you can reveal one secret without revealing the name of the person, was it the same lady in all the photographs with all the dogs?
On 3. On 3, yes. On 3, yeah. Because the 4th is a man, actually.
That was just for my curiosity, more than anything else. Yeah. Okay. Sean Connery. Oh no, you already said Sean Connery will win, so okay, I don't need to ask you this. Okay. If you could travel back in time, what period of time would you go back to and why?
I would go back to Rome in the time of Augustus, when he established the empire as empire, because that was the time when Rome wasn't totally rotten yet. That was the time Rome was looking ahead a glorious future, and culture and intellectuality and all of these things were just evolving, and that was a beautiful, glorious period of the world, in my opinion. A lot of new knowledge and all of that, and a lot of things to look forward to, and it must have been a very hopeful period. Yeah, actually.
Absolutely. What do you do in your free time?
Oh, I go to the gym. I go for walks. I can just enjoy looking at the view in a city, in woods, or I chat with my friends, date.
Are you a dancer or a singer?
I'm neither of them, actually, but I sing. I can sing quite well. I have never tried dancing, but I would love to. I'd love to learn dancing.
Okay. What global issues move you the most?
Climate change, obviously, and of course now this coronavirus is quite a depressing issue. It's why I'm trying to do my little contribution to the whole thing and trying to help at least some way, and if many of us help, that's a big thing, because many of us together a lot. And climate change is very concerning, and my recent trip to Iceland has been has verified that that it is really a huge problem, and it's growing at a rate that we can't control anymore, actually.
Well, I read somewhere, I can't remember where, but during this last few days or last week or so, that actually the hole in the ozone, one of the holes has actually been healing, that it's actually closed up substantially during this time when all of us have been in lockdown or in isolation or whatever you want to call it, depending which country you're in.
Yeah, obviously, because people stranded at home means much less pollution. People eat less, people shop less, people travel less. Like the whole world is standing still. So actually, the Earth has a bit of time to breathe and recover and heal, and animals have returned all of a sudden to places where they haven't been, because it's no noise. So it's no noise pollution, less pollution altogether, obviously. So.
One of my favorite animal stories during this time was actually the 2 pandas in the Hong Kong Zoo, I think, who after, I don't know, 12, 14 years of being together finally mated on their own. They finally bred, because there was no visitors, no one to keep an eye on them. So they got
of course.
Okay.
I've got to say I hate zoos for that. Animals are exhibited there.
Dog magazines, as a photographer, do you think in print or online version? Which do you think?
Print, definitely print. I love to have the paper in my hand. Love it with a coffee.
But don't you think with online sometimes, because of artificial lighting or things like that on a lit screen, some images come out better, some adverts look better?
Yes, definitely. The colors are almost always better in digital version, but then that's not the point. We photographers, we have to make sure it will look good in print as well.
Absolutely. I'm with you. I'm old school. Apple or Android?
Apple. I use Android, but Apple is definitely the better. You know,
You
and then
say
my next
that.
phone, my next phone will be an Apple because I just destroyed this one, poor thing. You know,
Okay, jazz or blues?
jazz.
Okay. What's your favorite indoor dog show venue to photograph in?
Oh, Helsinki Winter Show.
Okay.
Helsinki Winter Show has beautiful colors and lighting. You know,
Okay.
crafts is a nightmare. I love crafts really, but the lights there are just a nightmare to work with, I'm afraid. In the arena, fabulous. Breed rings, hopeless.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
the Helsinki Winter Show is beautiful.
and what about your favorite outdoor venue to photograph in?
Oh, Windsor. Oh, Windsor, of course, Windsor. Lovely Windsor. Nothing compares to Windsor.
Okay, if you had to pick a venue in Europe, then I mean, now that UK is out of Europe, but if you had to pick a venue in Europe,
Um, um, that would be, well, actually, I must say that some of the Hungarian shows have beautiful venues themselves. I'm not saying they're the best arranged dog shows in the world, but the venues themselves are really pretty. So I would have to go with Szilvásvárad, I think, as far as the beauty of the location is concerned.
yeah,
Is what I would say. That's really beautiful. The surroundings, the mountains, and the hotels and the little village, they're really pretty.
I think one of mine and the Irish are gonna have to forgive me on this. I can't remember where it was, but on the circuit, one of the shows is in the backdrop of this. He's got this huge church in the background, and it just looks absolutely stunning. And my ring was
Yeah, it's
facing it.
beautiful.
Yeah,
It's just I find it too gothic, you know. My funny artistic soul, you know. It's too grey for me. It's too gothic, too wet.
well, we were there on a beautiful sunny day, so it looked magnificent. Okay, Game of Thrones. Are you a Game of Thrones fan?
Oh yeah, of course I love Game of Thrones, and I was mad because of the last season was such a shit crap thing. Oh, how could they destroy it? How could they?
Okay, so I've been so far in the interviews I've done. Only one other person has been a Game of Thrones fan, and I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan. So,
Yeah.
who was your favorite character?
Oh, Tyrion, obviously. Tyrion is fabulous. Oh my God, I love him. And Lord Varys.
Okay,
Lord Varys.
and
Lord Varys.
if you, I mean, any decent Game of Thrones fan hated the ending. The ending was just terrible. Okay.
Oh, dreadful. Absolutely. Such
So
poor
how would
work.
you have ended it? If you had to end it, how would you have ended it?
I would have liked Tyrion to become, you know, Lord of the Seven Kingdoms. You know, to me, he was the only one who could actually rule this and keep this together. And I would have liked that Lord Varys to be his aide, and Dany and Jon Snow too. I think that that love affair was a bit forced and too much and too staged. You know, I think Jon's real one woman should have been Ygritte. So that was terrible that she died. You know, because she was the ideal one for him. He belongs in the wilderness. That's what I would have loved Dany to succeed, because she had to go through so much. I mean, if there was one character that really struggled a lot and had to fight a lot to get to where she was, that was Dany, you know. So I thought that was really injustice what they did to her. I would have loved her to be, you know, rule of the Seven Kingdoms too, maybe with Tyrion as her right hand. That would have been lovely. Perhaps a bit too obvious as an ending, so that's why they didn't want to do it. But what they did was a disaster, so that was just totally
It
stupid.
was, because I tell you something. I saw the highlights and I couldn't even watch the last episode because I didn't. It was that bad.
No. Actually, what I would have loved them to do is to just allow Dany to stay, you know, in what was the name of the place where she was ruling? Not in Westeros, but
The other kingdom. What's it called?
the other continent. No,
Yeah.
I would have just had her stay there and be the queen there. You know,
I agree with you. All right, we're moving along. Online dog shows, yes or no?
No. That said, it's a very complex thing, because first of all, what I mind about the online dog show drama is that I think people really go overboard when they take this so seriously that they open up huge discussions about it, against it or with it. there are actually real problems going on in the world, in the whole world at the moment, I think it's very ignorant and selfish to spend your time on you writing big, huge comments about online dog shows and why they are bad and why they are wrong. You can settle it with your friends and privately if you support it or not, and that's all. But this is not the time to go online and be so selfish and ignorant that this is the only thing on our minds, online dog shows. I can't be bothered, to be honest with you. I'm happy that it makes some people happy. As long as it's not taken too seriously, I don't see any danger in it. I think it's silly, really, but it helps people stay connected to the sport. I guess it gives them something to do, something to take their minds off from Corona and people dying. So, okay, I'm essentially not supporting it, but I am not going to go online and say, oh, this must be stopped. You know.
Okay.
It's up to people to decide.
Going back to your photography, smooth-coated dogs or long-coated, which are more fun to photograph and which create more stunning pictures?
Oh God, this I can't answer because this is not dependent on the coat. This is dependent on the breed, actually. Some long-coated dogs are a nightmare to work with. Some smooth-coated dogs are a nightmare to work with. It's more the dog, more the breed, actually. But long-coated breeds can be a lot of fun because you can play with the coat.
Yeah.
You can brush it. It can flow down from somewhere. The wind can blow it. So, yeah.
You can get.
But it depends on the breed.
I find that, I mean, just my personal not experience, but my personal opinion, I find that with a long-coated breed, you can create a bit more drama, whereas with a smooth-coated dog, it has to be your backdrop and or what they're doing. You have to capture that little magic moment,
yes, absolutely, yes and no. At the same time, I think a sexy greyhound is more dramatic than any other breed or a Great Dane. Actually, but you're right. In many ways, you're right. But in many ways, you're right.
Okay, we touched on lockdown and things like that. You were in the UK, and then now you're in Sweden, and in the UK there was a lockdown, and you were ill. So I suppose. But what's one thing that you've learned about yourself during this period that surprised you?
I thought I was less selfish about my own personal things and wishes and things, such as crafts. I was one of those who definitely did not want crafts to be cancelled, and I'm happy it wasn't. And I think the crafts committee did amazingly well, that they actually managed to keep the show going and they managed to make it happen. And it's very few people that got sick at crafts. Let's be honest. But on the other hand, even if it was, because we went into crafts knowing that this could be a breeding ground for the virus, and I didn't care. So that was a very selfish thing to wish for. So in that respect, yeah, absolutely, that was a good thing to learn. And it's good to look into the mirror and say, okay, so that's probably something you didn't think of yourself. So in that end, this lockdown is quite good.
Okay. Who's one person that always cheers you up?
Oh, that's Aspen. Oh yeah, he can cheer me up in any moment, anytime, any day.
Okay. Nikon or Canon?
Canon, but Nikon is equally good, so there is not much difference really.
Do you use a mixture of both, or do you stick to one?
Canon. I don't even use Sigma or things, just Canon.
Okay. Right, just moving along. Hang on. No. Do you believe in fate?
I do, very much so. Absolutely, I'm a big believer in fate.
Okay, and you said you're.
I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen right in front of my eyes to so many people in the dog world, outside the dog world. Absolutely.
Okay. And second to last question: would you rather cuddle a baby panda or a baby penguin?
Penguin, actually, and I love pandas, but penguin. I would have to go with the penguin.
Okay. What have you done as a contribution in the dog world that you are most proud of?
There have been, Well, it's a very, very arrogant thing to say. You know, whatever answer you give is difficult not to be arrogant. I think, because it's kind of singing songs about yourself. But I think it's holding people together, you know, into a community, which is my clients. Okay. You know, and then I like to support up and coming photographers, actually. Okay. I like to support, and I have helped quite a few of them to get their membership somehow, and gave them ideas, and I'm quite proud of the fact that we photographers are a fantastic community, actually. And I'm quite proud to have written some articles which are classics, really, and have been fantastic reads to even well-established readers, and they said this is something that should be put into a book and
so
read by everyone.
You tend to agree that there's room for everyone. There's enough room for everyone to survive and exist and be creative.
Everyone, absolutely. There, I never felt, as from a photographer point of view, I never felt that we were a trouble for each other. We all represent our own styles, and there's room for everybody, absolutely everybody. And the more the merrier. You know, I love my fellow photographers, and exhibitors, readers the same. The more the better.
And I know you said you're quite a healthy person, but do you have a favorite junk food? I want to know this.
Oh, yeah. Actually, McDonald's. You know, McDonald's is McDonald's. Yeah, I love McDonald's. I can't deny that. I mean, it's disgusting and it's dreadful food, but sometimes it's just so bloody good. You know. Yeah.
Okay, Anna. What is the one sentence you would like to see in your obituary about your time in the dog world, or about you as a dog person?
A sentence I would like to see about myself.
Yeah, in your obituary. So, you know, what you'd want to see about yourself. What do you want people to say about Anna?
Oh yeah. Oh my God, that's a difficult one. The visionary photographer. Yeah. Excellent. That's what I would like to see. And then people have said and written that about me before, so I hopefully it will stick, actually.
I would put, she made every dog look good.
Yeah. That's yeah. She tried. That's what I can say. She tried.
Well, yeah. Well,
and hopefully managed.
You do. Anna, thank you so much for your time. I've really enjoyed having you on the show, and to get to know you a bit better. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. And please stay safe. Take care. And
yeah, you too, everyone.
We'll see you soon. All right.
Absolutely. Take care, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.